So this weekend, one of the Sudzers was vending an event, and she met another soap and maker, cosmetics maker vendor there who had amazing bath bombs, right? And so, of course, this Sudzer, being her, because she's awesome, she went up and struck up a conversation and was chit chatting and complimenting the amazing bath bombs and everything. And they got into a conversation about how this other vendor makes their bath bombs, and she told this Sudzer, who is Madhouse Mama, by the way. Just, I don't know why I'm being so obtuse with that. But anyway, they were talking about how she makes her bath bombs, and she told Madhouse Mama that she puts like a crap ton of oils and butters into her bath bomb recipe. And Madhouse Mama was telling me this, and I'm like, well, that's not a bath bomb, that's a truffle. And she gave me more information. I'm like, that's interesting. I want to test it. And so that's what we're doing today. And I'm not going to tell you the name of the other creator that Madhouse Mama was talking to unless this is a really awesome thing. Because I don't want to put anybody on blast if it turns out to be like a bad thing and maybe she wasn't being honest. Although, why would you lie at an event when you're talking to other soap makers that are your competition? I'll tell you more about the recipe and what we're testing today in just a minute. But before I do, hello, I am Mrs. Soap and Clay. Let's make stuff. How's it going, Sudzers? Welcome back to the channel. You are at Soap and Clay, where we make all the soapy things. And yeah, you're here for a bath bomb testing day in a weird way. I know we've been doing a bunch of bath bomb videos, but I think if you just go back in the channel, I get into these little things like just this, I have to do bath bomb obsession stuff maybe once a quarter. And it makes sense this time of the year because I'm thinking about my holiday line as well as trying to map out everything that I want for my 2024 line for all the different subscription boxes, all of the jazz. And so bath bombs are on my mind. So we're getting a lot of bath bomb content, but this one I think is going to be really even more fun than the rest of them because we're going to be doing weird stuff with oils and butters in a bath bomb recipe. Because the bath bomb recipes that I give out, they have like a tablespoon of oil in them or a tablespoon of butters in them. And this person that Madhouse Mama Soaps was talking to, Madhouse Mama Soaps, Christmas tree. But anyway, this person that Madhouse Mama was talking to said that she puts half a cup of oils and or butters in a recipe. And I'm like, well, half a cup in relation to what? That's what we're going to play around with today and probably multiple times because I don't know if I'm going to be any good at this. So let's get to the video. We're going to talk about what I ended up doing with it and give my overall thoughts and impressions and experience, while we all basically experience it at the same time together. Okay, so this one's going to be a ton of fun because the gal that Madhouse Mama was talking to had said that she puts a half a cup of oils and butters into her bath bomb recipes. And these bath bombs are just so cute. They're amazing. They're just over the moon. Awesome. And I'm like, well, half a cup into what? What does that mean? And JJ said that the bath bombs, according to this other maker, makes about 6 to 8 depending on the size. And so I kind of estimated that and I went, all right, fine. Let's actually get some proper measurements here so we know what we're working with, And so I assumed that's going to be a little more than 2 cups. So let's say 2.5 cups of baking soda, maybe 3. So that's 30 ounces of the baking soda, 15 ounces of citric acid, and what ended up being 2.5 ounces of the butter. But again, I don't know anything about the butter. You know what I mean? Should it be firmly packed like baking soda? What are we talking about here? All I know is I put some shea butter into a cup until I felt kind of good about it. And then I melted it down and I put it in the thing. Now I have put nothing else in here with the exception of the scent and a mica. So that's it. That's all. And now we are mixing it up, and it's so messy right off the top. It's immediately messy. I don't like it. I don't like the way it feels on my gloves. It's not a good time for me, but it stops being messy pretty quickly on, which I am here for. You know what I mean? So it also had the very interesting consistency and texture of that sodium carb. I think it was a bath bomb, the sodium carb Lush patent that I tested out on the channel, which I think was this year, although it seems like a bajillion years ago. Yeah, so very interesting. Also, the foaming bath or the foaming, dish soap tablet things like that. So I was worried that it was going to start expanding, and it never did. That was not my journey with all of this. And so I put the citric acid in at the very end, even though there's no water or anything in it for it to react with. I wanted to make sure that the oil was able to mix in really well before we started playing with anything else. And yeah, for the molding, this molded so beautifully. Like, I cannot even express to you how delightful this entire mold was. It was so easy. I just did it the exact same way I do all of my bath bombs. And so it's just put a heaping scoop into one so it's overfilling, just gently press it down, put a heaping scoop into the other side so it's over full, gently press it down, put a big, dollop in the middle, and then press them together. Unmolded like a dream, not fragile at all, and heavy. These guys are so heavy. That's clocking in at 8.1 ounces. So this is what I'm worried about in the drying process. Are they going to start kind of weeping over the little cradles that I put them in to keep them spherical? I don't know. We're all going to find this out together. But as far as the actual molding goes, yeah, it's super duper easy. Because of the weight, because they are such hefty bombs, I am thinking immediately these guys are definitely going to be sinkers. They are not floating. There is no cap, no shot. There's just no way it's going to happen. And so ultimately, I decided for 3 of these bombs, I was going to make them regular, which I'm doing right now. And then for the final 3, I thought that I could go ahead and use the little trick to make them float by aerating them in the middle, just kind of putting some holes in them. You know what I mean? And so that's what I'm going to do. And I am going to differentiate between the 2 versions so we know what we're looking at for the final reveal. And by just putting a little bit of mica on the top. But yeah, it'll be a good time. For this, my first impressions are going to be, it's going to be a bad fizz. Now, I literally just made these bath bombs. I'm talking to you right after I offloaded the footage. So I have not looked at them. I have not tested them. I have no idea. I'm thinking that the bath bomb fizz is going to be very slight. It's not going to be a big fizzer. I'm also thinking it's going to sink to the bottom if it survives the drying process. So these are my first thoughts with all of it. As far as how much this actual 2.5 ounces of shea butter is, well, I went ahead and I measured a tablespoon, which is what I usually put in all of my recipes and the recipes that I give you guys. 1 tablespoon of a butter in this case, and that's 0.5 ounces. And so actually I probably should have more firmly packed that half a cup, so probably closer to 3 to 3.5 ounces of total butter if we're doing the actual half a cup. But I figured since she gave a half a cup measurement, she's not being super precise with it anyway. It's just like all bath bomb things, 2 cups, 1 cup, half cup, you get it. And so yeah, I'm going to aerate all of these and put a little mark on the top of them so we know the difference, to see if maybe we can get one of these to float if we aerate the middle. Now, normally I don't have any problems with my bath bombs floating, so I don't do this, but it might be a good idea for these particular ones because, again, they are so heavy. Now, I'm thinking also with this recipe that it would be really good because it's not sticking to any part of the mold. I know that you see the outside and it looks like there's sticky stuff on it. That's the outside of the mold, just from being in my hand with the compression and being banged onto the bath bomb powder. That's the residual that's on the actual table. It's not sticking on the inside of the mold at all. And so I'm thinking this could be really good for the 3D mold. So I'm actually really excited to get my new order from Parton to see if I'm right, because it really could be. But for this, yeah, easy peasy. This was absolutely delightful. I had zero problems with the actual make, just easiest thing in the world. And even when you get to the very end of the bath bomb powder and there's not a lot left and you don't really think you're going to get a full bomb, I was able to mold the last one without it looking really strange. I could even just clean up the edges without worrying about it breaking. No problems whatsoever. Now, how will they dry? How are they going to cure? And most importantly, how are they going to perform in the tub? All of these things we're going to test, well, now for you, but I have to wait a whole day before I do more, so hold please. Okay, it is test day and it is 78% humidity in the shop, which means that's what it got to overnight. And surprise, surprise, these bombs, they did not expand. They did not weep over their little cradles that they are in at all. So that's good. They do have very interesting just kind of modeling on them. Like they've taken on some humidity, which totally makes sense. Absolutely. And I think moving forward, I would put some water into this to make sure that it got a nice crust formed around it so it would not take on those warts. It is also weirdly dry, but very, very firm. And this is the regular size bomb. It's coming in at 7.3 ounces when it's all said and done. And the one that I put the holes in is coming in at 6.8 ounces. So quite a difference, just putting in the holes to, again, hope that it floats. Now, from the drop tests, yeah, they don't break, but they certainly dent. And this is definitely something that I've experienced with a number of bath bombs over the years, a dented bomb. I don't like a dented bomb, but, you know, when you're working with copious amounts of butter, that's what you're going to be dealing with. Now, we're going to test the first one, the one that I did not put any holes in, so I do not expect it to float. And I did not put a lot of water into the sink. I am using my kitchen sink for this guy. It's a fairly big sink. It's 36 inches long and like, I don't know, 18 or 20 inches across. So it's a fairly big sink, but I did not put a lot of water in. I don't like wasting water just generally for these things. But the fizz was impressive. It was very nice. I did speed all of this up, but in total, very violent reactive fizz for sure. And it did go ahead and fizz out that full 7.8 ounces within 2 minutes. So it's definitely a fast fizz. I would want to put in a starch, so a cornstarch or an arrowroot flour or a kaolin clay to really help extend that fizz. But as you can see, very, very tiny bit left after just a couple minutes. And look at that water. It's so greasy. Now, remember, I did not put anything in here as far as an emulsifier or anything goes. Literally, it is the baking soda, the citric acid, and the shea butter. And of course, the scent and the color. And it is so, so greasy. I have not gone over to this Fizzy Bee website thing and looked at her ingredients to see if she puts an emulsifier in. I've done none of that so far, but that is like such a no for me. Granted, I understand that if you're actually in the tub, you might have a different experience with all of this because it's going to be, you know, your body is in there, so some of the oil is going to transfer to you. But first, how sticky are you at the end of all of that? And second, the sink that I have this in right now, it's not one of those cast iron like slippery, you know, things that you would find in a tub. It's like ceramic or it's whatever. It has a roughness to it, a little bit of a roughness to it. I don't know what it is, but it's not in like an acrylic tub. It is a heavy, anyway, this particular sink doesn't have that really slick surface, but a lot of people do have those tubs, those like slide in, drop in tubs that have that really slick surface. I would be terrified with that amount of oil all over the place. Like I would never ever sell something like this to a customer. So emulsifier is going to be, you know, the key for sure, what I'm thinking immediately. And second, I don't know. I'll test the next ones that I do, like actually getting into the tub and see how I feel afterwards. But that went down my drain, guys. I don't put oils down my drain in, copious amounts like that. Does oil end up down the drain? Sure, like with everybody, that's a thing, but that's a lot of oil when it's all said and done. Oh, that bomb was the second bomb. It did float, by the way, and it still took about 2 minutes to fizz out. And I showed you the holes that you can see. But yeah, no, I put all that down my drain. That happened. That was a moment. And so I don't know how I quite feel about it, but it's fun. I definitely want to play with it again and see if I can put some emulsifiers in and work with it from there. So this thing has been sticking out the whole time and you guys didn't tell me? Rude. Yeah, so that's an adventure. Isn't that a ton of fun? I'm actually super into this right now because, wow, it's a different way and a different take on bath bombs. And so I am bound and determined to crack this code and do the things. And so we will definitely be doing another round of this and talking about fizzy bath or something. Yeah, I I'll give you information. Well, maybe we'll pin her website or something on this, and you can go check out her beautiful creations. All the things. But I'm interested. This is very cool. It's very fun. I like it. And if you guys have played around with like copious amounts of butters and oils in your bath bombs, let me know. How do you like it? How does the end user like it? Is it too greasy? Is it too sticky? Is it perfect? Tell me. I want to know. I want to have a conversation. Also, comments help me. So comment about that. I am out of here. I gotta go. You know the drill. See? It's telling me I gotta go. But yeah, as I said, I'm out of here. Thank you guys so much for joining. Sudzers, thank you. Extra special, all of the thanks for you personally. I know that you all know this, but every once in a while I have to remind you, when I'm looking at that camera, I'm looking at your faces. Like the faces of the Sudzers that I know, and I know a lot of your faces. Because we're weirdly parasocial and we love each other a lot. So we know each other. Yes, thank you. Again, Sudzers, for existing. For the rest of you, you exist too, and that's awesome. I'm happy for that. You could subscribe and be a Sudzer if you want. I mean, it's fun. I'll see you guys all again tomorrow for another round of this bath bomb recipe testing. For sure. Probably. Maybe. I don't know. Could be soapy. Soapy fun. Bye.